Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Pretty Fly for a Senpai. My name is Time Muffin, and I'm here at basic training at the the military boot camp. And I've smuggled a fat grip of steamed potatoes out of the cafeteria.
I'm Shark Wellington, and if you were expecting me to make a joke, I've only been allotted 2 in my entire lifetime, so I'm making them count.
Woo! and I'm Hero 19X, and I'm ready to lay my life down to kill these titans.
Look at that salute. What a proud
The
salute.
The best salute.
Look at the form of his salute.
I just want some of that potato.
Oh, these potatoes are real good, sir. Sir, the potatoes are delicious. Would you like some?
Why are you eating that potato? Are you asking me why people eat potatoes?
I mean, that was there was the moment of levity. It came and it went, and now it's just misery. We're in misery forever.
And now we go die.
Yep. Hold on. It's time for me to mind break again.
I did kind of wish that they explored that a little bit more. That was Sasha, correct?
The potato girl?
Yeah.
The potato girl. Yeah. I kind of wish they would have gone a little bit into sort of her backstory a little more, because it sounds like she had a very interesting childhood as well, but we only sort of get secondhand. Like we don't get the flashbacks like Mikasa got. I don't know if that changes in future seasons or not, and I feel like that's a thing I'm going to leave at the end of my sentences. Is I don't know if they fix this later.
No, they do. Like, they deliver.
Yeah.
It just comes down to, all right, here's my prevailing hypothesis going into it. I've talked to a bunch of friends while I was watching season 3. No, I watched season 3 like last year. And I was talking to some coworkers and friends, and I was like, hey, have you guys watched Attack on Titan? It's pretty good. And they're all like, nah. I mean, I watched part of it, but we've all stopped around the same point. They all stopped right around the part where Eren loses control after he intentionally turns into a Titan for the first
and
time.
Punches Mikasa.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm out. They're like, that happened, and that was the cliffhanger, and they're like, I'm gone. I'm out. Or somewhere around there. But, like, I stuck through it just because we were, it's couple anime watching time. But that Trost arc gets real long and real sloggy.
Absolutely. I think the thing that occurred to me was that there is only so much mileage you can get out of every single character having the exact same internal struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they all sort of approach it in different ways, but they're all just having the exact same grapple of, I don't want to die, but also I don't want to let down my friends. And I don't know. I just really couldn't be bothered by the time I was done. Like, I think it's purposeful how often you see characters die in the show, as a sort of life is so fragile and you can die so quickly, and if a giant were to squeeze you real hard, you would definitely cease to be alive. But I don't know. I just really, really did not care by the end. It all just wore on me.
I think that's something that it is touched upon occasionally, but it's not touched upon a lot, is that I think it's a feeling of just emotional fatigue.
Yeah.
At a certain point, like especially by the end of that Trost arc, because we saw the Titans as a viewer, and we see the Titans in the first episode and the second episode, and we've seen their terror and horror, and everybody's terrified. And then when Trost gets attacked, they see the Titans. There's a new group of people that are seeing the Titans for the first time, and it's like 3 episodes of people seeing Titans for the first time again. but we've seen them before. And then during the last bit of the Trost arc, you have the dude, like the people in the big crowd when Pixis is on the wall giving his speech. There's like more people mind breaking while that's happening. And it's like, okay, this is like the 7th time that I've had to watch people lose their damn minds about seeing Titans and how big and scary they are. And a thing that is glossed over is like none of these people have ever seen a Titan before. Not the last Titan attack was more than 100 years ago. So they are experiencing the thing that we experienced in episode 1, but like they're showing us that person's horror as if it's new to us as well. Like, what is that? Like the amount of times they're like, what is this? What is happening? Is just too much when, as a omniscient viewer, we've seen this all before. It didn't need to be there, I don't think. At least not that much.
It's kind of hard to see it from the character's point of view, partially because what also sprung to mind was that the camera is always really far out, like a big panning view of the city, and over time, it started to feel like the Titans were the regular sized ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would have been cool if maybe there were a lot more, maybe just over the shoulder type moments where you can really get that sense of scale, because it felt like just about any time they were fighting a Titan, you could see the entire Titan and you could see them kind of swinging around it like a little mosquito. But how cool would it have been to have more of those shots, like that part when Levi like did a buzzsaw thing?
Oh God!
On the female Titan's arm.
I love Levi.
That was super cool, and I think it would have really benefited from that closer perspective. Like by the time I had seen, 24 people slowly getting brought to like a Titan's mouth, I'm like, but could you imagine if there was like a shot of like from the person's perspective of like getting like going into the mouth, like
that's kind of what we got that one shot with Aaron when he had his arm stuck out. But I mean, that was pretty much it, I think, from a shot that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shrek, what was your thought on that? What was your thought on that fake out?
Oh yeah, like that we all thought he was dead for a while and then he wasn't dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I didn't know what entirely to think about it, because I do know that Aaron is a fixture of the show. So I was saying to myself, okay, this is like episode 3 or 4, whatever. Like, he's not dead, but I don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was thinking to myself, okay, so I guess he's gonna have prosthetics for the rest of the series, but
be a How to Train Your Dragon situation, but How to Train Your Fleshy Meat mecha.
Oh my God! It is a fleshy meat mecha. Holy cow! Wow!
It's just a mecha anime.
I like this so much more now.
It's a robot, except it's a robot made of meat that materializes out of nothing, apparently. I don't know. I haven't watched season 4 yet. I don't know if they expound on that at all. But
do you think they could solve the starvation problem by generating Titan bodies and figuring out how to cook them up?
Well, I think the Titan body is mostly of steam.
Okay. Well, I know it like evaporates real quick, and they were saying it's like especially lighter than it should be. But
that'd be interesting a way if they could like find a way to harvest like Titan bodily stuff and cook it, that'd be cool. I mean,
how do you like your Titan ribeye cooked, Hero?
Oh, I like mine medium.
Medium. Okay.
I like to see the red.
It can get a little gamey. Any less cooked than that. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of would just cook itself, really.
Ooh.
You probably just take what you get.
I suppose. I like a flank steak. myself, little Titan flank.
Little-
Is this bit going on too long? Should I
there
move on?
was some love given to the butts though.
Oh,
They love the butts.
the rump, the Titan rump.
Yeah.
The Titan designs. Let's talk about the Titan
Oh
designs.
my god, yes.
Like I don't know what to feel about the way they went about it.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's meant to be kind of absurd and simultaneously horrifying, and I can't figure out if I'm scared or not. It's like they have sort of grotesque faces, but they just also look so stupid. You know, I'm remembering there's like a video on YouTube of the one is it Aberrant? Is that what they called them? Aberrant?
Abnormal.
The Abnormal. I think it was Aberrant subtitle. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I watched the dub because I'm a dirty pleb. Also, you can continue your point, but I have voice acting things to say.
But anyways, yeah, there's like a funny video on YouTube of the one rounding the corner and coming towards those people who are stuck at the tunnel. It's like, making my way downtown. And he's like, his head is just kind of like flapping back and forth. You know? Like,
Dude whipping his ass around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Like, it's weird. I don't know. I don't know. I can't decide how I feel about this oddity of the Titans looking so goofy, but also being portrayed as this super terrifying thing. I don't know.
It is weird for something that everyone is terrified of and get eaten of, that like they look like so goofy and just so silly.
Yeah, I do. It's like it falls into the uncanny valley, maybe. Like they're human-like, and it's almost like they're drawn more realistically than the anime people that are fighting them. Like at least in terms of their facial like features.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, real creepy. There's definitely a otherworldly like distance, vacant look in their eyes, kind of a thing. Just unsettling.
I don't know. Like, it's I want to know what their reasoning for like the Titans not having genitalia is, aside from we just didn't want to draw that. I don't.
We didn't want to draw pants.
We didn't need an Incredible Hulk situation here. Okay, Lou Ferrigno trademarked the stretchy ripped pants. Okay.
Oh yeah, and like how
Can't do that again.
They don't actually need to eat. They just cough up hairballs whenever they have too many people in their stomach. That's wild.
People balls. Yeah, no, it's the physiology and the I want to put it, the way that they are, you know, energized and move around are kind of just some mysteries throughout the whole bit.
A lot of the Titan stuff gets explained in season 4.
You're kidding me?
A lot of it. Lot of it. And it sucks because you have to get through so much, but honestly,
it's no worse than Hunter x Hunter. Everybody going, you know, you got to get to episode 40 before it really starts to get into getting good. It's not quite good yet, but it gets good at around like episode 60, 70.
When an anime we have to watch an anime that long to get to a good part, is it even worth it at that point? Like, ugh.
So, I mean, there are 4 seasons, and you're telling me that the 4th one is where it gets good?
No, it gets good before.
Well, I'm not saying that's where it gets good. Like season 2 and 3 are bangers.
They're bangers for different reasons.
Okay,
you get a lot of information in season 2 and 3 for other reasons, and but season 4, I feel like that's where they really. I feel like they explain a lot of what Titans are and such.
Yeah.
that's good, because definitely one of my bigger complaints about this season is that they are just heaping on questions and not giving us any answers. And
Like the cellar and everything like that.
yeah, oh my goodness.
The cellar you find out, I think, in season 3.
Season 3, near the end of season 3, I think, right?
Yep, and then that's why season 4 really just is a. So
Yeah, the end of season 2 or season 3, like the finale of season 3 is the reason why it's like the second highest rated anime on Mal and not season 1 like every other series where it's like, you know, the first one's really highly rated and then like all the other ones are a little bit lower than that. It's like, no, season 3 part 2 is like an 8.9 or 9.1 on Mal. And it's because they finally start answering these questions, and then they drop other questions that are pertinent to the information you are told that makes you question a lot of stuff about what happened before.
I'm just looking forward to answers, really. I shared this screenshot last night as I was finishing up that conversation where that head guy's like, in other words, this was all for nothing.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought to myself, oh, like this guy is speaking for the audience right now.
yeah,
He's saying, I mean, did we do anything? And Aravind is trying to convince the audience that they didn't just waste their time.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it felt like, because
But we learned so much about them.
yeah, but we didn't do nothing. We learned that sometimes we can win. Awesome.
I'm gonna dip into voice actor corner here because I watched the dub because there it's easier for me to watch dubbed when I'm at, you know, over lunch at work.
it's interesting. I've watched like when season 1 first dropped. I watched half of it
Mm-hmm.
in subbed, but Jess wanted to watch it too, so we just waited till the dub came out. And I'll let you go.
You know who Erwin is, or not Erwin? Aaron. See, this is the thing. All the names are the same too. You have Aaron, Ervin, Armin.
Yeah, for real. That's why I'm getting not confused, but like it's just they're all like they all sound so similar.
But the guy who voiced Aaron is the guy who voiced Inosuke.
Oh,
Bryce Papenbrook, I think
Nice.
is his name.
Bryce Papenbrook.
This could be a hot take, but I feel like Aaron's voice was okay. Like it wasn't like Zenitsu bad. You know what I mean?
No, it wasn't. Aaron is such a whiner. It's just mostly I think the thing that I found most irritating about Aaron, and maybe this is colored by like my season 2 and season 3 stuff, but Aaron is just such a bitch for the like Armin comes to him and is like, yo, we found out who the female Titan is, okay? We figured it out. It's Annie, you know, the girl that beat you up for years when we were in boot camp and didn't really interact with anybody. That girl. He's like, what? You're telling me that one of my very bestest friends that I've ever had in my entire life is the female Titan?
I was absolutely going to bring that up. I feel like they skipped something. I don't know if, like, from the source material, there was more interaction, but they weren't friends. Like, what was that?
Yeah, I was about to say they weren't. They were 100% not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. It's something that like it's like, okay, being friends through like hardship or whatever, like the boot camp where apparently people died at the boot camp.
Yeah.
And we weren't really told that until like later.
Some people left, some people died. Like,
Yeah, some of us died.
Wait, what? What?
Wow, bury the lead there.
Well, I do remember on one of those little cards, the what we can say so far, there was one that was like, they would do a drill where they would just cut the rope as they were like climbing a wall, and what was it? They were saying like if they would have died to this, they would have died to a Titan anyways.
Yeah,
Which
oh God.
I guess is
Honestly,
a thing.
Here's the thing. Like a lot of their training, again, this goes back to there hasn't been a Titan attack in 100 years, and none of these people have seen Titans before. And before Shira. Like, none of these people have seen a Titan before, and they have these wild training exercises like that, where it's like, yeah, no, we're going to cut your rope, and if you would have died to that, you would have died to a Titan. It's like, none of you people fucking know. It's been 2 generations since any of you have seen one of these things.
True.
You don't know.
Titans have knives.
I would think really that the Survey Corps would be a lot more like important than the others, really, because they're the only ones with experience around a Titan. That knowledge, it's got to be super valuable.
I feel like the Survey Corps gets too much hate. Even I know, like this, they do get a lot of casualties, and it's understandable. But they're the only ones that are going out there actually figuring out stuff about Titans. Where, like, you know, the military, and all those other young men and women are just inside the wall while they're out there risking their lives for information. I hate that in the show they get so much hate.
Yeah, no, I my opinion about it also kind of goes back to the whole it's been 100 years since a Titan attack thing. And it's like, so for the last 100 years, people are seeing the garrison regiment in their town just chilling, collecting a paycheck, not really doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the MPs not really doing anything, and apparently stealing government equipment and selling it for personal profit. And then, like, the Scout Regiment goes out, and all they see is people, 50 people leave, and, 35 come back. And the 35 that do come back, 25 of them are, like, horribly injured. And they're like, man, those guys, they must really suck. And all the other guys are just lazy. All these people getting a fat paycheck on the government dime. I get why people don't like the military in this universe. But again, it's like, maybe if they would have had like 1 or 2 more mentions of, God, these guys, there hasn't been an attack in 100 years. Why do we need so much military? Bunch of lazy bums. It would be more clear, but this is my 3rd time watching it, the first season. And because I watched it once in 2016, whenever the first came out, I watched it.
2013.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I watched it around that time. And then there was like a 4, I watched it again and again, and this was the first time I watched it where I was like, okay, so the time between these Titan attacks is really sticking out to me. And when you think of it like that, it makes more sense why the people in the garrison regiment and the MPs are having these mind break moments, because I'm sure a lot of them got into the service being like, yo, dog, I'm in it for the easy paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
We just get to chill and play cards and drink and hang out on the wall all day.
Bet.
I'm in.
Let's go.
Bet.
Like, I just couldn't see myself in that situation, seeing all those people leave and a handful come back just shell shocked and broken, and thinking to myself, geez, what a bunch of leeches. Like, no, like, then you go do it. You won't. I just want one of them to just say, hey, if it's so easy, how about you go out there? Huh? Like,
Eh?
like,
You do it.
Come on. What a waste of our tax money. What is tax money? What does that matter? They're keeping you alive. Tax money? Like,
really
are you trying to get your kid in like a nicer school district? What taxes?
Vote yes on the proposition to get better Titan education in our schools.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Ban critical Titan theory from our school districts.
Oh, we're doing that.
Oh, we're getting into this now. This is we're getting into the current events now.
Don't put the face of someone you don't like over top of yourself killing them, please.
Maybe don't put the face of a colleague onto like make an effigy of you and your friends killing one of your coworkers. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe that's a thing you shouldn't do.
Maybe
Don't do that.
Seems makes sense to me.
I mean, it's very clear. It's very clear, and it's the whole video is ironic. For those who don't know, a United States representative posted a video of the Attack on Titan OP, which we'll get into right after this, where basically the shots of the Titans walking into the city and breaking into the city have been replaced with like Border Patrol videos of like immigrants trying to cross the border illegally, and then during the part where Eren and Mikasa and Armin are flying around and they kill the Titan in the city square, dude edited his face and his like political friends' faces onto it, and put AOC's face on the face of the Titan that got murdered, and the colossal Titan at the end. There's a big Joe Biden head. Which, whatever, like, say what you will about the politics of it. I'm not going to get into that. There's a very clear, like, media literacy problem. Like, very clearly this was made by someone who either never watched it and didn't care, or watched it and completely misunderstood the entire point of the show. Especially knowing what we know. Especially knowing what I know from just watching to the end of season 3. I have not watched the start of season 4 yet. Just knowing what I know, boy, they really have no idea what the hell they're talking. Like, I'll just say it like this. Like, the way that the Titan power is passed on is pretty freaking on the nose for our political system. I'll just leave it at that.
Really grinds my gears when I go on Twitter, and I don't like politics in general because it makes you think ill of other people, and I want other people to think what they want to think. But you fuck with my anime, okay? You don't do that. You don't just throw politics into my anime. It's like I have very few things that aren't political, and I wake up and I see this my one of my animes that we were watching being very political. I go, what the fuck, man? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. What did I do to deserve?
I don't either. Also, the fact that it's illegal immigrants and that's like the main portion of the video is also speaks to how like the intense lack of media literacy on this show.
Just be good to each other,
Amen.
everybody.
Yeah. It's not that hard. It costs $0 to be nice.
That's true.
It just like we're all living on this. We're all stuck on this big rock. We can't leave this rock, guys. It's really not feasible. Okay, we gotta fix this one.
We're not Jeff Bezos.
But I'm not Bezos. I'm not Jeffy B. All I am is a simple sea creature spreading a message of love and peace.
Fact.
Just don't hate people that you disagree with. You know, like different viewpoints.
You're over here doing the Trigun love and peace over here.
Love and peace.
Yeah, no. The Attack on Titan OP, which one was your favorite of the two that were on this season? You had the that one. And then the one that starts out with like the church chorus and strings.
Is that one?
Yeah, that one. Yep.
I like I the first one, maybe because the first one's just so iconic because you hear it so much, but I every time that you hear the part where they go Jaeger, I just stand and go Jaeger, yes, I know that part because I hear it, and I googled it and it is actually Jaeger.
I have to agree. I couldn't hum the second song if my life depended on it. but the first one was absolutely a jam. The second one I skipped almost every time.
I'm gonna be the odd man out. I like the second one more. I don't know. And the only difference is like I think I've heard the first one so much that I don't need to hear it again. I think I skipped it. I skipped it at the second one every time, and at least the second one I listened for like 10 seconds to get through that string bit before it got turned into like speed metal. So it's a slim margin. It's 9 seconds of difference.
I have to say that honestly, I kind of wish they went with a different genre of music than they did. It didn't entirely feel like what they went with made sense for the setting. I would have kind of dug something a bit more orchestral overall for all of the music, because a lot of the very action-filled sequences, the big overcoming moments, you know, he's picking up the giant boulder and moving it to the gate. It didn't feel like that speed metal, that hard rock. It didn't feel like that fit. You know, it felt like something more Lord of the Rings should have been playing when that was going on.
I know what you're saying, and I know exactly which OP in this show you would like the most.
Oh.
There's one that was very controversial because it was so different and everybody hated it.
Oh God, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
You know the one?
Yeah.
It's so different than all the other ones. And I don't have an opinion on it, honestly.
I don't have an opinion.
But like I know that it was like stupid controversial. Like people were like, "What is this bullshit? Get this bullshit off my anime, off my Titan Mech anime." But I think you'd like that one. Unfortunately, I think that's season 3. So we'll get there. We'll get there at some point.
All I keep hearing is that season 2 doesn't have anything going on. Like
season two has stuff going on. It's different. Like the thing with season 1 is like, we'll get into like vagaries here. Like season 1 is like the despair of humanity and like the sheer enormity of the task they need to fight with. Season 2 is like intrigue, almost like a spy thriller kind of a thing. And there's other conflicts within the cadet corps graduating group that kind of like they're all together and they kind of, you know, they're dealing with the whole Annie thing, among other things, and yeah, they all join the Scouts obviously, so they're all kind of just together and interacting. Season 3 is when you get into answering the questions that were introduced in season 1, answering the lion's share of those. And then as far as I could tell, season 4 is like, gets real Game of Thronesy, where now you know more, you know all the stuff, most of the stuff you need to know, and now they can get into like just slaughtering main characters. That's my outsider's perspective. But
as far as the turnover of main characters, how does that compare? Because that was one of my things for season 1 was just, I just couldn't care about these characters. They're just in and out. And it's like, here's my quick backstory. Oops, I'm dead.
I think, no, I'm thinking I got season 3 wrong. Season 3 turns into like class warfare, but like, it tones it down. It scales it back pretty significantly, I'd say. Like, there are characters that die, but they're all, for the most part, they are characters that you know. Like, obviously, you're still gonna have your red shirts.
Yeah. There were a lot of red shirts.
Yeah, but the characters, like, you know who's gonna die in the first, like, in the Trost arc, because you're like, you know, they're all chit-chatting amongst each other, and I'm like, it's the Thanos meme. It's like, you took everything from me. It's like, I don't even know who you are. Like... it's that. It's kind of like that. to an extent with some of the characters who died in season 1. You like see Aaron just chilling with like 4 no names, and you're like,
you know they're gonna
well.
die. It's literally
Yeah,
just
well,
like in
sorry,
Demon
bye.
Slayer, where in the subtitles, the Demon Slayer's name was just Demon Slayer. You are going to die. I'm sorry, you have no name. You're not important.
Sorry, Demon Slayer 4, you're out of here. Male Demon Slayer 4.
I gotta say too, some of the deaths, like I had to kind of look up what even happened to understand. For example, Armin's grandfather, I believe, was sent to try to take back the wall, but they never say that. Like they just have him like crying over a hat, and I had to look up what I was even looking at. I was like, what?
Yeah, I think that like Pixis says something about it later. I can't remember if it's his speech on top of the wall.
He was talking about like the going back to take the wall was really like extermination plan or something weird like that to wean out the numbers.
Yeah. Population control, because there were too many mouths to feed because they had to take the big circle and move everybody into the slightly smaller circle.
All right. So are you guys familiar with SCP? This is a bit of a transition. Like SCP, like that thing that's like the sci-fi.
It's the one that's got the monster that's room is full of, it does nothing. You need to be 3 people in the room. When the room gets cleaned, the room must be cleaned every day, but 2 people must be looking at the monster at all times.
Yes. All right. So there is a thing with SCP about how just about all of the monsters require a sacrifice every other day, whatever, and you've got thousands of these things, and if you do up the math, just the whole planet's worth of humans are dying every year to all of these individual monsters, but you just don't think about that. It's a hand wave. But I absolutely thought of that with how many people just die and are thrown at the Titans, and we lost 20% of our population. Like, I kind of want to know what the actual number, the exact number of humans we are working with is, because it feels like there's just no cap. Yeah, there's no cap. We just somehow have infinite people, but also losing 20% here and there, but it's whatever. I don't know. True. That was a tenuous link to make, but somehow when I was watching, I thought to myself, this is like D class. Like D class in SCP are people who are going to be sentenced to death for awful crimes, whatever. And somehow they've just got a million of these guys. And I felt that whenever I was watching a scene with all these red shirts, just dead. They
get wicked dumpstered. Like I
dumpstered.
I mean, it's kind of explained. I don't think we ever get like a concrete number, but yeah, no, I agree though. It's like you never know the scale on which we're working here.
Yeah.
Like how, like, yeah, I don't think they ever do give a number. I mean, I seem to remember they may be giving a number like stupid early, but can't recall.
I kind of wish I could understand a bit more about just all the different cities. They mentioned that there are factory cities, but we don't see that. Maybe we do later, but
there's a lot more. Like, I think this brings me to kind of another thing with season 1 in particular. Every shot outside of the expedition, the 4 episodes when you're not in the city, and I guess there's 2 of those episodes where you're entirely in a forest, but it's like you just feel trapped and claustrophobic the whole time because every shot has this like 150-foot wall in the background. Like, look at every single shot of the show, and there's just a wall in the background. Yeah. And it's just at a certain point, you feel trapped at a certain point. It's like I was talking with a coworker about this because he's watching it right now. It's like the I'm going to mention someone political, but it has nothing to do with politics, I swear. There's the picture of Hillary Clinton walking into one of her like voter, like someone who's going to vote for her, like their apartment, their 2-bedroom apartment. And she walks in and it's a picture that's taken when she's looking up and like she's like hunched over, like her shoulders are raised and her head is down and she's looking at where the ceiling is. And she looks kind of like, oh boy, I'm trapped, because I'm sure in her house she has nice vaulted ceilings, which make everything feel more open and free. And that's kind of the concept that season 1 feels like, where there's just this wall. There's this constant wall. It feels like you're just trapped in these situations, in these environments, even when may not be the case, you know.
That's why it blows my mind that like Aaron and Armin were like the only two that I believe that said anything about it in season 1 at all. It's just about life outside the wall, and like, you know, what we got to do to get outside the wall, because we're all trapped like rats, and no one else has that mentality. It just blows my mind that no one else feels that way, or if they do, they just didn't want. I don't know. They just keep it to themselves. But like Aaron and Armin are the only two that really want to, you know, do what they got to do so that they can live outside the wall. They want to see the desert, the sea, and everything. And I just feel like everyone else is perfectly fine with being within these walls, and it's it would bug me. It would bug me that I don't understand it.
I feel too that it never felt like there was any place that was truly safe, because they were always scared of a Titan getting through the walls. And, you know, I mean, a lot of people consider, you know, their home, the place, you know, where you can lock your door and, you know, be safe for a bit. But in this world, your house could get kicked down like it was nothing. There's no place that is truly impenetrable in this world. And it definitely kind of hangs over everything, that even when they are relaxing or drinking or just having conversations, they also have to be ready for the possibility that at any time that Titan could peek over the wall again.
Yeah.
You know, like, life is so good. Time for the counterattack to begin. Whoosh. Nope.
Yeah. And in season 2 and 3, it is more, you're not in the walls very much at all, really. And there is like, because you're not focusing on like city life as much, it's mostly you're dealing with the, you know, you got the scouts and you've got, you know, the cadet corps group and that kind of whole, I guess, clique. And you're mostly just dealing with you get more into, instead of like cosmic horror and tragedy, you get more into like interpersonal, like relationship type stuff, which is way more relatable than the big monster come eat me. I eat the Bigfoot monster kick the wall down.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing up the word cosmic horror, I definitely agree with that. It does feel a bit Lovecraftian now that you mention it. That sort of, we are so insignificant, and so many characters are just immediately just squished and they're done.
Snuffed out.
Snuffed out. Oh man. And like, I don't have the best transition, but a scene that really stuck out to me was during Trost, and one of the buildings was being overrun, and the one guy was just like slowly reloading his gun. And he's like, happy little clean gun. I love you. And they like slowly show him putting the barrel in his mouth, and you could hear his teeth clicking on the metal.
Yep.
Like, I was like, they put so much detail into that part.
Yep. No, they did not. I mean, that was like, see, the thing with that is like that barely registered with me, because at that point I was so emotionally fatigued of watching people mind break that I was like, yeah, that seems normal. That's about right. Sure. Why not?
they did do a lot of cutting away at the moment of death, which I'm not. I guess I'm not saying like I wanted to see people being like ripped in half or have their heads explode or anything, but it did also kind of at some point feel like they were trying to keep production costs down by not having to animate some things.
Get real JoJo with it.
Get real JoJo.
Another thing that I was thinking, the animation is a bit framey. Like I don't know if I was alone in feeling that.
Oh no, I was gonna bring up the animation, how there are a lot of, especially in the first like 5 episodes, the amount of, or well, I guess through the whole thing, now that I'm thinking about it, the amount of still frames that were lingered on, like, and like the camera would just move to the side, or it would zoom more in on it. Like, the thing is, like, him and Pixis are walking on top of the wall, and it's just like a still frame, and it's like just slowly zooming out on the still frame. And I'm like, oh, this is supposed to mean like they're walking. Got it. Okay. It felt like they weren't given the budget that they obviously get in later seasons. Because I've seen some clips from season 4, and damn, they do not. Every expense was spared, or no expense was spared for how good that stuff looks.
There were expenses. More
expenses. Yeah, no, it felt like they just didn't have as much of a budget in the first season. Like they obviously get it later, but yeah, in the first season it's just not there.
Yeah. And some stuff really felt bloated, really. Like some scenes felt longer than they needed to be. Towards the end of my viewing, I sought out I watched it on VRV, and I found a Chrome plugin to adjust the speed of the playback because I was done watching this on 1x speed. 1.5 times speed actually felt approximately what the pace should have actually been. Yeah, it did feel a little bit like some stuff, the voices of course are a little bit chipmunky, but 1.5 times speed actually felt like a comfortable pace.
I could see that.
And I would go back to 1 times and think to myself, man, this is so slow.
I mean, yeah, even in the later sections, like when Eren is debating whether or not to turn into a Titan in the forest, and they spend a whole episode where...
A whole episode, yes.
Eren, trust your friends.
A whole episode, and like, a whole other episode deciding whether or not they're gonna run, or like, in the chest cavity.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's some pacing issues. I think that like the action when it happens and is animated, it slaps real hard. The Titan fight at the end, when the female Titan first appears and just starts whooping ass. And just starts like grabbing people by their tethers and just slamming them into buildings, and the like slow walk while she's twirling the dude.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
So I love that shit so much. But like, it felt like I know we said this before. It felt like a 12 episode, 13, 14 episode anime kind of stretched, and like 6 of those episodes are trost.
Yeah.
Because that is where everybody stops watching it. In my experience of talking to my friends, everybody stops watching somewhere in the trost arc because it's like half the fucking season.
Yeah, felt way too long.
And it doesn't, like, there's not enough meaningful things that happen in the trost arc. Like, yes, you learn things like about the abnormals, you learn about Eren dies and comes back, and then he can,
Big rock.
Then he goes, big rock thing, big rock, carry big rock. Put Big Rock down.
Put Big Rock down.
I get it, but like that didn't. I don't feel that it needed to. We didn't need all the flashbacks of like Armin, just like when Armin's on the roof after having flashbacks of him and Eren as kids. Like maybe, like we've already seen these moments, like literally 2 episodes ago. Maybe we don't need to see him again. Maybe those can be nixed.
That too. Recaps at the beginning of the episodes. I think each episode was somewhere in the neighborhood of like 24 minutes, and up to 4 minutes of that was recap.
Oh, easily. There were times because I would skip the recap, skip the intro most of the time. And there were times when I'd skip recap, skip intro, and there'd be 17 minutes of an episode left, which 1.5, 2 minutes of is end credits. So it's like there's 15 minutes of show in this 24-minute show. And I'm like, okay, got it. All right, this is what we're doing now. We're putting if they cut all the recaps out, and to be fair, this was made in 2014. Recaps were more of a thing than it is in current modern anime. Yeah, I don't recall there being this many recaps in the later seasons.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And they also transition into 12 episode chunks. Everything after this, because they do season 2, which is 12 episodes. They do season 3 part 1, which is 12 episodes, and season 3 part 2, which is another 12 episodes. And then season 4 is 2 chunks of 12 episodes, because it's easier to get a tight narrative into 12 episodes. I'm willing to bet that the creators regret making the Trost arc 9 episodes long, because literally it's almost half of the entire season is just chilling in Trost. And then like the aftermath of Trost, where you just learn, you're basically verbally told the Trost what happened. And then they spend the whole episode on the tribunal.
Yeah. I just kept having this nagging thought of what out of all of this stuff happening matters.
The thing is that more of it matters than you think. And that's, I guess, part of it. I still think you could fit all the things that are important into a 12 episode season of the things that happen this season. I feel like you keep the first 2 episodes as is. You do like 1 episode of boot camp instead of 2.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was such a waste of time.
The thing about it
Holy
is like
crap.
the ODM gear training thing. Like it's important.
It is.
It is.
Oh, is it?
It is important, but like you still didn't need to spend 20 minutes on it. Like they could have told the thing they needed to tell with that in like 5. Like I get it. Like you're walking through the woods with Reiner and Bertholdt and reminiscing, but like you're literally just restating shit that we've already been told for half the episode. And you could cut 7 episodes, maybe cut 6 episodes out of Trost, and there's half your season. You do, and then you like leave the last 6 episodes of Eren with the scouts going into the forest and the female Titan, and then you do 3 episodes with the female, fighting in whatever that fucking town, Stohas. Then you're good. That's done. You're done. You don't need anything more. Like, yeah, you might lose out on the Sonny and Bean comedy, but I mean, I am a Bean Brigadier myself, but
Bean Brigadier.
Are you a Sonny Stan or a Bean Brigadier? Which is it?
I mean, I don't really have skin in the game.
What do you mean? You don't got skin in the game?
No, you can't. This is unacceptable. I mean, you got to pick something. You can't just say I don't. Sonny and Bean, they're the heart and soul of the show.
Well, was it Bean was the one that like was laying down on the ground and panting like a dog? Oh, you're such a stan.
No, I am. I'm a Bean Brigadier. I just like
Stan
Bean.
Brigade. But I gotta say, no, we are not letting it pass that they spent like a whole episode on that stupid flight thing, and the ending is just, oh no, you were actually great. No, you're doing just fine. Your stuff was broke.
Oh, don't worry about it.
That felt like such a wet fart. Like I felt like I wasted my time. Like we had all this time with him struggling, like, oh, I am gonna spend all of my time improving and working hard. I might not have the talent, but I'm going to work and work and work. It's like, oh no, your thing was broke, kid. Here you go. You're good now. Like I felt jebaited. I felt like
yeah, no, it's important. It's important. It comes back. later.
But like that episode, I just felt like I'd wasted my time, like getting invested, you know?
That's fucking what the fuck is that? Hero just posted the wildest fucking meme in the Senpai chat on the Discord.
I just wanted to remember which one was Sonny and which one was Bean, and then I saw that.
Wow! If you want to see that, you should go to the Discord. There's a link in the show notes.
True.
Sonny with a chance. Watch Sonny with a Chance on the Disney Channel. It's good. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. Oh, it's so good. All right, I changed teams. I'm a Sonny Stan now.
I'm a Sonny Stan.
Look at those sweet ginger locks.
Wow, Hero. I can't believe that we almost got eaten.
I know, it's the most scariest thing in my life. I can't believe it.
Hello, and welcome to the inner wall.
Oh,
where we may not have enough food for you to survive, and we may need to enact some population control measures in the future. But don't think about that, because we here at Pretty Fly for a Senpai have a Patreon that we just launched. That for different tiers of money, you can get special access to other additional content. That's way better than food, right?
Hell yeah!
Not gonna lie, I was hoping for food, but continue.
Well, you see, the reason why it's better than food is because we have shit. You know what's better than food?
What?
Getting exclusive tracks of your senpais watching anime movies with you. We'll be recording and posting some commentary tracks. The first of which is going to be free up on our Patreon page.
Wow.
I love free.
So you can get a little get a little morsel, get a little taste of that delicious not food.
The first taste is free.
First taste is free. We're going to be doing commentary tracks for anime movies. We've got fan requests for series that you want us to watch in the future. There's also a super tier where if you provide enough money to the Wall Cult, you can watch our recordings live on Discord.
I love live on Discord.
That took a lot of effort. That took a lot of effort for us to get set up, and we were sacrificing water for you refugees, but well, go over to www.patreon.com/prettyflyforasenpai. Patreon.com/prettyflyforasenpai.
Can I please have something?
No.
This Patreon's the only thing? Wow. Okay.
What you can do is you can go to your friends and share this beautiful podcast with your friends and family members.
I love sharing.
If your friends and family members love anime, then they'll love listening to us talk about anime.
I'm enjoying this podcast so much. It's almost like I'm trapped within a ring of walls that are keeping me here against my will. That is how much I love this podcast and how much I love making this podcast with you guys. I am a prisoner to the love that we share.
And also the Titans that are outside the wall, but let's ignore them for now.
I love Wall.
I am also afraid for my life, but when I'm when I'm not questioning the morality and the fragility of life itself, I am I'm either working on this podcast or listening to past podcasts. We all actually have talked about, like, we all listen over our podcasts after they come out, and it's so much fun every single time, and I have such a good time
Same.
editing it. And I grin like an idiot as I'm going over a joke for the 5th time to make sure that it lands just right, because I'm neurotic like that. But
It's okay. The neuroses is what it gives you your charm.
it's the flavor.
It's the flavor. It's the seasoning. It's the garlic pepper on your steak.
Ooh, I do like garlic pepper.
That one's for free. Also, we don't have steak here.
No.
well, now thanks for talking about food
God.
in front of me.
Mr. Guard, sir, is there a place where we can communicate with other humans that want to eat like ourselves?
You mean the stockades?
I meant the Discord, but yeah.
Oh, we do have one of those. We do have one of those. The link is in the show notes. The link is in the show notes. It's where you can find a wonderful Sonny with a Chance meme. We talk about anime we're watching. We talk about games and stuff. We set up Heroes set up a crab game session with people on the Discord recently.
It was a fun time.
And yeah, something went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
I was busy doing my guardly duties, but I would have been there.
Like communities. You could technically call it that. We got those.
Of people who are hungry.
Please.
I mean, technically you two were forced into this community, but that's okay. 20% of you will be sent out into the wilderness soon.
Can I just send like one of my arms? That's like 20% of my body.
Math!
And you can even bring it back and give it to my mom.
I mean,
She'll appreciate that.
Technically, arms are food. So we will take the donation.
Oh no, cannibalism.
Thank you. Don't ask what we're going to do with this. All right. Well, the draft has happened. Unfortunately, Hero, Shark, you two are...
This is very quick.
It's amazing. You both were at the top of the list.
Oh, dang.
You guys... here's a sword. It's a plain old normal sword.
Oh.
Nothing fancy about it. I hope you don't need any training with this. I'm sorry, Shark, the 20% donation of your personal body was not enough to render you immune from the draft.
Can we reattach it?
Well, technically, you could say that some of it has already returned to its prior owner. Hope you enjoyed that gruel earlier.
I don't like this severance package.
That is quite a severance package. Go and sever some titans out in the wilderness for me, and
for humanity.
We'll get back to our regularly scheduled podcast.
For humanity.
For humanity.
Thank you for your sacrifice.
I wouldn't mind getting eaten by an attractive titan like Sonny.
Tell me about it.
Remember that? That one guy just walking on the wall like, oh, I wouldn't mind if a very attractive female titan just
Oh my god, you're right. So did say
gobbled
that.
me up. Yeah, it was
Pixis.
Yeah, it was Pixis. It absolutely was.
Pixis. I guess if it was a hot lady titan, that's okay. I love Pixis. Okay, I think Pixis is like one of my favorite characters of the entire show. He's so good. He is the perfect balance between levity and like tactical knowledge on the show, I guess I'd say. The whole bit where he's playing chess with the royalty. And he's like, all right, I'm out. We got problems in Trost. The Lord's like, you always lose to me in chess. How dare you? And then Pixis' lackey is like, with all due respect, sir, he will not lower his intellect to meet his opponent like he does with you in chess in this matter.
In the sub, he said something like, well, to be fair, he won't be throwing against the Titan.
Oh, that's a good one. See, I think that. Sorry, I'm going to get into Netflix subbing issues now, but God, the subs on Netflix they're too they're just not good. And I've heard stories of Netflix's translation practices and how the people who get hired to translate, basically they are given a Google Translate version of the script essentially, and then are told, yeah, just make it work. And some of the subtitle editors just don't change anything. They just leave it at the Google Translate.
Wow.
It's like, oh boy, it hurts me. Like I hear things like that, Shark, where like you watched it on a different service and the subs were better. And I'm like, damn it. Why didn't I just choose to watch it on not Netflix? Oh wait. It's because if I want to download an episode on Crunchyroll or Funimation, it takes 1.5 gigs of space on the device that I want to watch it on. For 20 minutes. I wish I was joking. Sorry. This is a personal problem. This is a personal issue for me and me alone. But
even when you're connected to Wi-Fi?
Not when I'm working diligently.
Working diligently.
For me, Zoe was my bit of levity. I really did like her. She was she just never let anything get like she never was negative. She was always excited and oh, I burnt my hand. Oh. Just it was a little bit of that sort of Ed energy of just being like fascinated with everything. And oh, I hurt myself. That's some good data right there.
I got some good data.
Yeah, just like playing with the Titans like they were dogs and like they were pets.
I do love it. It's like, this hurts me more than it hurts you. Seems like she's screaming more than they are.
I'm sorry.
It's good. I like Zoe. I do like that they had to reiterate the fact that Annie was using Marco's gear like 6 times.
I didn't even understand. Could you explain what exactly that was?
What do you mean?
What happened? Okay. First off, so was it that like some gear got left at the scene?
No, so they wanted to know whose gear was used because someone had to use the gear to kill the Titans, apparently.
Right.
So they were doing an inspection to see because they need to get authorization to use the gear in between like inspections.
Right.
Like it gets inspected and brought back up to like full gas tanks and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were checking to make sure that it wasn't used. I'm guessing there's some kind of tell on the gear, like a little Budco tag that only higher ups would have on there.
Were they basically saying that she had taken Marco's gear from his body?
Mm-hmm.
And she was using that?
So that was the gear. So she used her gear to kill the Titans. But then when the gear inspection was happening, she had Marco's gear on the table in front of her.
Okay.
Armin, big brain.
Yeah, that went right over my head. I didn't know what I was looking at, but
yeah. And the only reason Armin knows this is because Armin's genius. And that's kind of the other thing. It's my other criticism, I guess, with season 1 to an extent, is Armin is just, it's kind of like Ed in Cowboy Bebop, where it's like, yeah, he's just the Deus Ex Machina machine, man. Like, at least the conclusions he comes to are smart. Like, when he screams out, like, oh, that suicidal maniac, he was on the right flank, and now I saw his guts on the bottom of the Titan's foot, and got Annie to, like, stutter when she's in female Titan form to, like, try and suss out who it is. Like, I thought was, like, his stuff was smart.
I have to rewatch those training camp episodes because I don't remember that being his nickname.
Oh, Gene called him that all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was mostly Gene called him a suicidal maniac constantly. At least on
that just felt so weird. Like that felt so forced to me. Like it felt like a weird thing for him to say.
It was forced. because he was trying to suss out who it was. Because this was after Annie pulled back his hood to see who he was. And then she left him. So he's like, wait, so this person knows they're looking for someone specific. And they know what they look like. So the only thing I could think of that would make sense is they're looking for Aaron. And they know what Aaron looks like. So it's someone in that is in the military. So he was trying to narrow down who it was.
Also, it looks just like her.
I mean, true.
I don't know how you can't just look at her, look at the female Titan, see that big old schnoz, and go, yeah. What's up, Annie?
Yeah, like I just started thinking to myself without all those other clues, just like, yeah, that's Annie. That's absolutely that is no doubt Annie. It's so obviously Annie. I couldn't get over that because I was thinking, yeah, like it's clearly her.
Interesting that. That is very interesting.
It's interesting. How a looks of a Titan, yep. I mean, if the looks didn't do anything for you too, I mean, the battle stance, like the stance of the...
Yeah,
it's like, come on. What...
And the fact that so it's Baron Zeppeli like tiptoeing across you get the Baron Zeppeli stance. But yeah, like the fact that and this is the thing that annoys me more again about Aaron is it is so obvious even from the superficial on the surface observations you can make about her. Like the fact that her face looks very similar to Annie's. It has the same kind of hair as Annie. Does the fighting stance as Annie.
And kickboxes.
And kickboxes the same way Annie does.
Yeah.
And Aaron is still like, she's my friend. I can't turn into a Titan to fight my friend.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better if I just let her kill all of my other friends so that I don't have to kill my one friend who is actively killing
all my other friends?
The friend that we have not established is even your friend at this point.
Like one single heartwarming moment or something.
Exactly.
Like one moment of connection at all. It just didn't feel like there was anything there.
No, her throwing him on the back of his head. That was the moment.
Do you remember that time when you just knocked me to the ground? I felt like we really had a connection.
Remember that time when you almost broke my neck and coccyx at the same time? Boy, that was a trip, wasn't it?
My coccyx.
Yeah, I mean, people are into that.
Reminiscing about abuse.
Oh yeah, was it like implied that like Annie's dad was abusing her, or what was up with those flashbacks? Or is it meant to be vague?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are interesting.
All right.
It
definitely feels like they're giving you just enough to be confused.
And they hope that you'll be interested to watch later seasons. Now imagine watching this season and knowing that, or not knowing when season 2 is going to come out, and it doesn't come out for another 4.5 years.
That was wild.
That sounds painful.
Yeah. Like, 'cause this came out in what, 2013?
Yep.
Yeah.
And season 2 came out in 2018?
Jeez.
It was a stupid long wait. So, like, imagine you see all these questions are introduced. Obviously, at this point, the manga is still going. So the questions are being answered in book form. But, like...
The manga's, I think, done now.
Manga's done. Manga finished during the airing of the first half of season 4.
Okay.
Which everyone thought it was going to be the whole thing because they advertised it as the final season. And then at the end of the second episode, or at the end of the last episode, they're like, by the way, part 2 coming in January next year. Like, oh, I got wicked debated. Got it. Cool. They love to do that shit with anime season announcements. But yeah, like imagine seeing all this, having all these questions introduced. Questions, like a lot of the questions you don't even know are being introduced. Like legitimately, I'd say 2/3 of the reveals that happen in later seasons are not even explicitly stated or mentioned in the first season, but they're all important.
Just like JoJo, you gotta watch the first season to know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess so. Man, I don't know how you do it to yourself, Muffin. You also are a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Oh my god! I mean,
I don't know if I'd call myself a Kingdom Hearts fan necessarily.
I played every single Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, I couldn't wait like almost 10 years for a resolution in all this.
The Keyblade for the mobile game, that's the true solution.
Wow!
Yep.
Thanks, Mickey.
Thanks, Mickey.
Stare into the abyss, and the abyss stares back into you.
May your heart be your guiding key.
Yep. Sorry, I can go on. I can.
Speaking of which, Sora in Smash has absolutely no Disney characters. Like he's just his own person, and it just feels funny to me because the whole series he's always with Donald and Goofy and sometimes Mickey, but obviously they weren't going to get those characters.
Too expensive. Speaking of licensing, this is like a total sidetrack, but like, so Disney, when buying Fox, they bought The Simpsons, and now The Simpsons are showing up in like advertisements for Disney Plus, and I hate it.
The mouse always wins.
The mouse always wins. I don't need to get into it. We don't need to get into our future corporate overlords. Corporations building neighborhoods that when you work for them, you get to live in their housing rent free, and how this has not been, in every dystopian sci-fi future corporation war novel ever written. Never once. Anyway.
Never once.
Enough existential horror. Let's move on.
I did like the design of the swords. I thought that was pretty cool. I definitely feels like it was meant to be reminiscent of like a box cutter.
I was gonna say, yeah, like a big.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah,
big X-Acto knife, big box cutter blade, like the little sections that.
Yeah, but like looking at those sections just made me think, man, like, is that weakening the blade though? Because that's where you're supposed to snip off and make a new blade from.
It does always seem to. Those swords always seem to break at those points.
I mean, yeah, like, is there a tactical reason for them to?
Maybe it's a thing where like maybe the swords have gotten stuck in Titan flesh, and if it's like, it can attach to, because the swords are attached to the gear, because that's how they steer and shoot their little hip dealies. Because there's multiple triggers on the thing, and yeah, that's how they steer it and navigate and move around and stuff. So maybe one of the first swords they made was solid and got stuck at a Titan thing, and they were just stuck dangling there. Maybe, I don't know. That's headcanon. I'm coming up with ODM gear fanfic. Also, like, there's plot reasons for things that you don't even like. Legitimately, there's a plot. There is a story plot reason for why Levi is such a badass. Same with Mikasa. Like, there's reasons for these things.
Okay.
There's so much to it, and the thing is that I don't think that they deliver on the promise of any of these questions being answered in the first season. It felt like they were just going with it and they're just writing and drawing and seeing how far they could go before they needed to come back and start answering some questions.
Like, do you feel like answers were made after the fact and they weren't a consideration at the time?
Not necessarily. I know that there are things that are referenced in the first and second episode that are delivered on in like late season 3. So like they had a plan clearly, and the solution is satisfying. I guess I should phrase it like that, because you can come up with anything, and it's like, yeah, they had a reason for it. But no, like the reasoning was satisfying. It's not like a Promised Neverland situation where a lot of people were not satisfied with how the manga even ended, because they said it felt like they were writing without a clear end in mind, and then just kind of went with a silly ending, which I don't necessarily agree with, but it felt like there was a plan. They had a plan, and they delivered on the plan, and it was satisfying enough.
All right. I don't know. I have too much else to say, really, aside from just I hope that you are right about the later seasons. I didn't love this. I didn't have the best time with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was not all that engaged. Like, I think the setting is real cool. I think the world is a really neat idea. It just feels like the end product just was plotting way too hard and retreaded way too much. And yeah, I don't know. It just didn't feel like, it felt like a lot of the time after watching an episode, I would just think, what progress have we made here? What have we even learned?
It's just a big turnaround where it's just like, everyone's dying for a reason.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my end thoughts.
Okay. I don't know why, but I don't know if it's like this in a lot of different animes, but whenever I see like that thick black line going around the anime characters, I don't know why, it just makes me, I don't know. I like it. I don't know.
I get it. I forgot to mention that, like, when the show's in motion and you're seeing these characters, like, I forgot how that's a thick line.
Yeah,
that's a thick black line around all these characters. He's a thicky boy.
Thick.
They went in with the ultra wide,
and maybe I wasn't like super hyper focused and paid attention to a lot of the stills. But I was just like, man, this I thought personally the season 1 looked good, but then, I mean, after you guys explained the stills and everything, I'm like, I didn't think of it like that. I was just blinded boy anime, man, just going.
That's okay. Hey, that's okay.
I don't dislike the design. I think my big takeaway is I don't dislike how it looks, honestly. I thought, the action scenes were well done. And in general, I don't have major complaints with it from a visual standpoint, but the story really was not doing it for me. And
it's understandable.
I don't, actually, sort of on the subject of presentation, I was rolling it over my head a little bit about the sort of weight and impact of the Titan fights, like especially the sort of finale fights.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of thought in my head about how the female Titan crashing through a church of people had less physical weight from my perspective. It felt less weighty than, say, Rem smashing her mace into those devil dog things.
You have a point there.
Wow.
And like, those Titans are ginormous versus Rem and a little non-important devil dog. But you just think of that, boom, the weight. I can see in my head, Rem swinging that mace and just wrecking things and feeling the awe and power. And I didn't quite feel that during the Titan fights the same way.
I think by that point, you've already seen so much so many mass casualty events that you just feel nothing. Also, fuck that cult. I think that probably played a part in it for me. Is I want to watch, like, as they're tumbling towards the circular building, and then they cut to a shot inside, and I see it's full of the cult leader and his I'm like, yeah, fuck those people, fuck that cult.
Yeah, it's just like they knew. Do you feel like they knew more than I don't want to say what they're leading to, because because they make it known that they know a lot of information, and they just don't want to share it to the public, and it could probably be beneficial, and it just sucks.
Yeah, fuck the cult.
But Rem's always in my mind, so amen to you, Shark.
True. Fact. Rem is
For bringing up Rem.
Rem is a constant, powerful force in all of our lives.
She
Whether
can
we
swing
know
that
it or
mace at
not.
Me.
What did you say here?
I said nothing. It's all right.
I mean,
Hero,
I'm going to extract that audio.
It's your turn. It's your turn to speak. Speak now, Hero.
I just said she can swing the mace at me.
Oh, see, that's okay. Hey, pain kinks are fine. Okay, that's fine. We all benefit. You know, some of us benefit from a feeling of helplessness sometimes.
I almost pushed the button. I stopped myself.
Everybody got a little bit of what they needed out of this anime. Here we got people being stepped on.
A little bit of danger. A little bit of danger involved. I mean, nothing wrong with getting stepped on. A little bit of pain, a little bit of danger. You get that.
Everyone got a little something.
Got a nice sizable bit of vore.
I was going to say,
Muffin cried a lot, probably.
Oh no, I didn't cry I felt nothing by the end of this, honestly.
I will say, like, at some points when Aaron finally lifted the rock and was walking forward, I did choke a little bit, but there wasn't that many points of like someone dying that was just like
No, especially like sometimes they were just bop 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 bop, like the bit in the forest where all of the friends that he made just die all at once.
Trust your friends, Aaron.
Yeah.
Trust your friends. Oh wait, the friends you trusted got absolutely plastered. Strawberry jam time, baby. Let's go.
Womp womp. Such is life.
Womp womp.
All my friends are dead.
I do. God, the amount of flashbacks. I forget. I'm thinking about it again. I'm thinking about the amount of flashbacks and just how many flashbacks there are.
Oh, there's too many. I can't count.
A lot of flashbacks. I would have preferred to get that info chronologically, to be honest.
Well, and like, I was thinking about when Aaron lost control or whatever and tried to punch Mikasa, and Armin rolls in and stabs Armin in the shoulder while Aaron is having his Tanjiro Mugen Train dream moment, and like we get flashbacks, like we get the flashback for Aaron being in his house with Mikasa and his parents, and then we get flashback with Aaron and Armin again, because it's this like second or third time we've seen them talking about going to the outside. And then then there was a monologue where Armin is like, you can do it. It's typical shonen boy, shonen boy, anime boy speech about you can do it. You're in there somewhere, and I believe in you.
You're our last hope, Aaron.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like thinking about stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, no, they really padded this shit out. Maybe a little more than they needed to.
Definitely more than they needed to.
Any last thoughts, Hero? You got anything else to say?
The only thing that I feel like I have to say is chicken butt.
What?
Yeah.
Dang. I'm a fan of the chicken wing myself.
A quick circle back, though, on how I wish things were presented chronologically, like the bit with the biting their hands, and they do the flashback, and then they come back, and it's like, and now they have bites on their hands. Wouldn't that have been so much more? Wouldn't that have been a bigger moment if we had that little thing at the camp earlier, and then he's about to, bite his hand, and he looks over and they're saying, believe in us. And you see the bite and you think about it. But it's shown, not told, instead of explicitly, here's why this is important and why you should feel.
Yeah, no, I do. I kind of wish that in that flashback they got to the point a little sooner. Like the whole him grabbing a spoon.
Oh yeah.
Like turning into a Titan. Like, yeah, like it's like, okay, like I get it. Like I don't think this needed to be a full 7-8 minute bit where everyone's freaking out and Levi's telling everyone to chill the fuck out, and then they all have their little debrief, and then they all do the little bite of their hand. It's like, okay, got it. We made it. We got there. We got to where we needed to get to. But fuck, did it take forever to get there.
Well, I mean, this is kind of is it the same feeling in the last couple episodes of Demon Slayer, where like they had to do their training arc type of deal?
I think you're kind of right. It does I do get similar vibes now that you mention that.
It's you can tell that he's not real. I don't want to say he's trying to train to control the power, but I don't. We had to get there. It did take a long time to get there, but we had to get there at some point.
Well, I believe we have arrived.
Oh, have we arrived at the dirty numbers?
I think we're just making that a thing now. I don't want to call them the dirty numbers. I don't want to say that. I'll let you guys call them the dirty numbers.
Okay. Well, let's have it.
Why are they so dirty?
Why are they so dirty?
Can we get the say-so numbers?
The say-so numbers. I mean, it all depends on your state of mind. Hero, you're definitely in the dirty numbers today, though.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Talking about wanting to get hit with the mace.
Oh,
talking about chicken butts.
That's true. I have done the deed. Do you want me to go first for the dirty numbers?
Go for it.
If you'd like to.
You know what? I would love to.
We'll save Shark for last. I think that's going to be the spicy take.
Yeah. It's hard because I want to give it a good number because of what happens later, but as being a first season, I would have to give it like a 7. I mean, like there's the fighting scenes were really good. Everything was there, but like how you guys are, everyone's saying that like it takes forever to get to point A to point B, which it is. The flashbacks are wild and insane when there's animes that, you know, just like how you were saying time off with you see the bite mark and there, the frustration. We don't have to get a flashback of it. I just give it a 7. It later on it gets way better, but 7 out of 10 for me.
All right. I understand why it got as big as it was, because it was huge right after this season came out. And I think I understand why. It's a similar thing to Game of Thrones, where it feels like this big grand adventure. There's things you haven't seen before. Like, saying it's like a mecha anime is a little reductive. But like, you know, it has some cool visuals when they took the time on the animation, like Levi doing the sick buzzsaw thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it was massive out of the gate it kind of floors me a little bit, but I think it might only be because the later when I think about Attack on Titan now, I think about season 3, part 2 primarily. So I had completely kind of pushed a lot of the what do I want to say, the fat of this first season out of my mind, because it's just not something you think. It's the same thing as how I've used this metaphor a lot lately, but like Death Note. You know, everybody thinks about, when I talk about Death Note and think about Death Note and talk about it with people, we talk about it's the first 2/3 of Death Note is really what we're talking about. It's the first 25 episodes of Death Note, and then the last 12 just didn't really happen. Nobody talks about them for a reason. It's because, you know, it turns into something else, and this is kind of that, but in reverse. It starts as something and turns into something else that is much more compelling and interesting later, and that is what I associate with Attack on Titan now. And coming back to this and rewatching it, this is my first rewatch after having seen seasons 2 and 3, and I totally feel underwhelmed.
Yep.
Like, thinking back to, you know, 8 years ago, I can understand why it was big and interesting. But now that they've done so much more interesting things with that concept, with that already interesting premise, going back is tough.
Yeah.
And I think I would probably have to give it. I'm between a 6 and a 7. I'll probably give it a 6.5. I didn't hate it. The thing about it is that after the big moments in the seasons 2 and 3, the moments are built to better, which granted a lot of the foundation is built in season 1 for these moments, these big reveals that happen later. So it's hard to like completely discount them. Honestly, I felt nothing. I was saying that a lot with like different things lately, but it's like when I got to the end of the first season, I really just didn't feel, I felt no sort of way. It's not like Kobayashi where I felt, happy and cheerful, or like JoJo where it's like, wow, this is ridiculous. And I
love it.
This is insane. Like I have an emotion. Or like even Platinum End where I hate everything about it. There's an emotion there. I feel nothing for this, and the only reason it's above like a 5 is because of the stuff that they set up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Is if I was going purely if this is my first time watching it, I probably would give it a 5. But because I know where it goes, I'm giving it a couple nudges. Main event.
I feel like you guys both sort of have been touching on the same thing, that as someone who is I've only now watched season 1. I have no idea what's coming. Apparently it's different, and that is fantastic because I have been trying to decide if I even am glad that I watched this. At least this season, like I'm hopeful that the later seasons make it worth it. But if I only ever watched this season of Attack on Titan, I would not feel like I was glad I had watched it. It actively kind of annoyed me a few different times. It was frustrating. You know how sometimes they just need a win, and where 2 different times the female Titan is dead to rights, totally like she's got a million ropes sticking through her body 2 different times, and they just pull out just out of nowhere. Oh, and also now she can cause a stampede of Titans, sure. Oh, and we just didn't use enough traps. What? You didn't use enough traps? Use more next time. What? I was actively frustrated and annoyed, which makes me think 4.5. We dipped under the 5 line. I
did it.
Actively disliked this experience. I hope that the later seasons rectify that, but I disliked it more than I liked it. 4.5.
This is the first time.
I feel like you're mincing your words. Are you sure? Are you sure it's not a lower number?
I would say it was about 0.5 worth of dislike.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't trying to soften the blow for
I wasn't actively super having an awful time, but it was a slog. It absolutely started feeling like a slog.
I gotcha.
We're gonna get Twitter hate now.
That's okay.
I'll take them all on.
All we're gonna hear is Ellen Yeager.
Aaron can come fight me if he wants to. He's not real.
He's not real.
It's okay. Aaron's too much of a bitch to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also not real, but also
True.
Aaron Yeager's a bitch. Bet he won't come fight me.
True. I know how to kick.
Yeah.
They never expect the kick.
No,
they
it's
never
true.
expect the kick.
You never know what size your enemy is going to be, okay?
Well, hey guys, I hate to break up such a great podcast, but there's a Titan over there.
Oh, wait, what?
Oh, shit.
This,
Aaron, I take back what I said.
we're all on the inside of the wall. What the heck?
Dang.
Hello? Wait, there's a hole!
Are the Titans inside the wall or are they inside the wall?
Oh, God!
Oh man, are they inside the wall or are they over the wall? Could be both at
Oh.
the same time.
It's true.
What if the wall is like a big bowl and we're all just cereal? Oh no! I won't be a cornflake.
I love how we're coming to this wall. Titan's walking towards us.
Oh, no. It's so close.
Ah, gee, well, time to zip line away.
Okay.
I've
Been abandoned.
Oh no! Y'all just gonna stand there? Like, you've got 10 seconds, but in anime time, that's like 5 minutes.
I know. We're just chilling. We're having a philosophical conversation about Nietzsche over here.
True, and you know, I still want to get one of those like little tables that heat your legs. So we're talking about that.
You know, Nietzsche was all about, you know, I think the core of Nietzsche's argument here, Hero, is do you like the flat or the drum part of the chicken?
I'm an either or kind of guy, but I feel like the flat you have to work towards it. It just gives me that kind of that sense of fulfillment.
You get a fat nug of meat out of the flats too.
All right, okay, guys, I'm back. I wanted to weigh in on this.
Welcome back to this. We're talking about Nietzsche and his love of chicken wings. Welcome back.
All right, well, I prefer drumsticks.
Drummy.
Oh, that was,
Gone again.
Oh,
wow.
it's disappeared.
This is the longest freaking out.
I'm more of a drummy guy, but I do appreciate the hard work it takes to get to the meat section
Yeah.
of the flat. You know, you got to do the work. You do the work, and you get more meat out of it.
That's how I feel, and you know, you get rewarded for your hard work.
At some point during this outro, Shark's gonna cut in a big foot stomping noise, and we're just gonna get